From the outside, the Watts family appeared to be a happy suburban family, but friends had started hearing about trouble in Paradise. Still, no one could have ever guessed the chillingly brutal murders that were about to put an end to their happily ever after. Chris Lee Watts was born on the 16th of May 1985. He met Shannan in 2010, and they married on the 3rd of November 2012. Chris and Shannan had two daughters, Bella Marie, who was born on 17th of December 2013, and Celeste Catherine, known as Cece, who was born on the 17th of July 2015. Chris worked for Anadarko Petroleum, while Shannan worked from home selling a product called Thrive for the multi-level marketing company known as Level. The Watts family lived in a 5-bedroom home in Frederick, Colorado, which they bought in 2013 and declared bankruptcy later in 2015. Shannan was active on social media, particularly on Facebook, and she often did live streaming. There is a video in which Shannan describes how she met Chris through a friend who happened to be Chris's cousin's wife. In the video, Shannan describes how she was going through health challenges at the time and wasn't interested in meeting anyone, so she deleted the friend suggestion that her friend sent her to befriend Chris on Facebook. She said that one thing led to another, and 8 years later, they had 2 kids, and that he was the best thing that ever happened to her. In the early hours of August 13, 2018, in Frederick, Colorado, one of America's most horrific murders took place, the Watts family murders. On August 13, 2018, at 1:48 a.m., Shannan returned from a 6-week business trip to Arizona. She was dropped off at her home by her friend and colleague Nicole Adkinson. Chris was home with their daughters Bella and Cece. Later that day, Nicole Adkinson reported Shannan and the girls missing after she became concerned when Shannan missed a scheduled obstetrician-gynecology appointment and wasn't replying to her text messages. After Shannan missed a business meeting, Nicole went to the Watts home at around 12:10 p.m. When nobody answered the door, Nicole notified Chris, who was at work, and called the police. A police officer arrived to carry out a welfare check at around 1:40 p.m. Chris gave the police officer permission to search the house. The family dog was found unharmed, but no sign of Shannan or the girls was found. During the house search, Shannan's purse containing her phone and keys were found. Also, her car, which had the girls' car seats, was still in the garage. Shannan's wedding ring was found on the bedside table. The FBI, as well as the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, joined the investigation the next day. Chris initially told the police he had no idea where his family might be, and that he'd not seen his wife since 5:15 a.m. the previous day. He gave interviews pleading for the return of his wife and daughters. In a video released by police, Chris was seen visibly distressed the minute he realised that he was caught on neighbour's CCTV camera reversing his truck into his driveway. Away from Chris, the neighbour told the police that he was suspicious of Chris. Chris was arrested on the 15th of August 2018. At his interview at the police station, he failed a polygraph test and later confessed to murdering Shannan. He asked to speak to his father before confessing. Chris had been having an affair with a colleague named Nicole Kessinger. Just weeks after they started talking, Nicole's mobile phone data shows that she looked at wedding dresses online for 2 hours. While Shannan was away on the business trip, Chris had hired a babysitter saying that he was going to a baseball game with co-workers, but in fact he went to a bar with Kessinger. Chris initially claimed that he asked Shannan for a separation. He claimed that Shannan had strangled the girls in response to his request for separation, and that he had then strangled her in a fit of rage and disposed of the bodies in a remote oil storage site leased by his employer. Chris then showed the investigators the site where he had buried Shannan's body in a shallow grave and the oil tanks in which he placed Bella and Cece's bodies. The investigation uncovered gruesome details of how Chris strangled his wife and smothered his 2 daughters with blanket. According to Chris' later confession, Chris woke Shannan as he was getting ready to go to work, and he wanted to talk about their marriage and future. Despite Shannan carrying their unborn son, He told her about his affair and that their marriage wouldn't last. Shannan replied that Chris wouldn't see the kids again, and he strangled her to death. Bella, who was 4, walked in and asked what was wrong with her mum, and Chris wrapped Shannan in a blanket and carried her to his truck. He put the 2 kids in the back seat and drove to his work site. He then smothered Cece in the back seat and put her body in an oil tank. He then smothered Bella, the eldest, who is said to have fought for her life, and disposed of the body in an oil tank. Hours later, he was back with his co-workers, acting like nothing had happened. Shannan was 15 weeks pregnant with a son who was to be named Nicole at the time of her death. Shannan had recorded a video where she surprised Chris with her pregnancy test results, in which it is apparent to see that Chris didn't seem genuinely pleased. Shannan wore a shirt that said, "Oops, we did it again." Chris reacted to the test result by saying, "That's awesome." Chris was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, including an additional 1 count per child, cited as death of a child who had not yet attained 12 years of age and the defendant was in a position of trust, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. On the 6th of November 2018, Chris pleaded guilty to the murders. The death penalty was not put forward by the district attorney as requested by Shannan's family, who didn't wish for any further deaths. On the 19th of November 2018, Chris appeared in court pleading guilty to all 9 criminal accounts. The judge called the murder spree the most inhumane and vicious crime he had handled out of the thousands of cases he'd seen. Chris was sentenced to 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. At the trial, Shannan's father, Frank Rusak, couldn't contain his emotions and sobbed uncontrollably. Ronnie and Cindy Watts, Chris's parents, told Chris at the sentencing that they loved him and they forgave him. They insisted their son was not a sociopath and that justice had not been served. They claimed that his lawyer talked him into confessing to a crime with mounting evidence against him, whether he committed those acts or not. In November 2019, Chris was also ordered to pay Shannan's parents $6 million. While it's unlikely they'll get any of the money, it prevents Chris from profiting from the murders in any way. Thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone who subscribed to the channel so far. For more videos like this, please subscribe and click the like button.